Hello Soapsters, and we're back again after a little while with a new tutorial, and this is the Funnel Spin Swirl. Now I don't know if this has ever been done or whatever, but this is just something that I was watching a tutorial on acrylic pouring, and I saw this and I was like, do you know what, I wonder if that'll work with a soap, and so I gave it a go. So into the into my oils there, I've popped some, I think this is black raspberry and vanilla from I believe it is Silver Smells in the UK, and I'll leave a link to the new website for those guys in the link below. And as you can see there, I'm soaping at between kind of 35 and 45 degrees, so a little bit warmer than I'd normally soap. And you can see here what I'm doing is I'm pouring the lye solution onto the shaft of the stick blender. Now what that does is it tries to mitigate the amount of bubbles that you get within the soap. The container I use for my lye solution is a screw top PP polypropylene jug with a wide mouth, jar with a wide mouth, and I find them a lot nicer for putting my lye solution into. So you can see here all I'm doing is I'm giving that a quick stir up before I then bring in the stick blender, just to start the saponification and the emulsification process. I'm going to bring in my stick blender. This is my favourite stick blender. I can't find it anymore. So if anyone has any recommendations, because I worry if this one goes, I'm going to be really I'm going to cry for days if this one ever goes, and it will do eventually. So I'm bringing this to an emulsion, and we've got a little bit of time that we need to kind of add colours and get everything sorted. And then there's a pour time. So this is a slow moving batter. And I'm also just going to bring it to emulsion. Now, for those of you that are new to soaping, to bring your batter to emulsion means you only just make sure that the soap is going to hold a film on the stick blender. So on the stick blender here, you should see that it's ever so slightly just starting to break apart. So the oil and water hasn't quite yet homogenized, and it's just starting to split. So what you want to do is just bring it so that when it coats the bell of that stick blender, it stays beautifully homogeneous. There isn't any splitting on it. And then we can start splitting off. So in order to control your tray, I think it's one of the biggest things that you have to do when you are a soap maker. You have to soap a little bit cooler than you normally would, because heat will accelerate the batter. And the other thing that you really want to be able to do is understand when you get to trace. And what I do is I see a lot of people who stick blend the bejesus out of their batter. But what happens then is you end up with thickening batter that's just going to keep thickening faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And you don't want that. What you want is just to be able to bring it to this beautifully kind of homogeneous emulsion. Then when you work with it, all the time you're working with it, you're still agitating it. It's still kind of going through that process. By the time you then come to pour to it, the design you wanted to do, your batter is too thick for, and you have to kind of change everything up, and you panic, and it just gets a whole mess. So bring it to emulsion, wait for it to get to the trace you need rather than trying to force it to the trace you need. Just give yourself time. This should be a really relaxing, slow process that you should just really enjoy doing. So, got 4 colours here. I've got a beautiful kind of denim blue, which is a kind of deeper blue. I've got a beautiful pink. I've got some purple, and then I'm going in with some black. Now, the black I'm using is a mica and not a activated charcoal. In order to get a really nice deep black colour, I find that I have to use quite a lot of activated charcoal, and that leads to staining of body and stuff. And whilst it washes off, I don't like it. So I tend to go with a black mica where I want to get a really deep, dark black rather than a grey, and because that works a little bit better for me. So what I do here, I've got my micas mixed up in a little bit of oil. I sacrifice some batter firstly by pouring into the oil, and then I pour back in, and then I scrape out. What I find is in these little containers, if I leave the oil and the mica in there without the batter saponifying, it becomes this kind of gloop that just stains, and it's really hard to get rid of. So by putting the batter in and containing it within some of that batter, even the little pots that I'm using are easier to clean afterwards than just the oil and mica, which just, for me, becomes a nightmare. It also means I can hand stir everything in, and you can see there that I've got a beautiful blue colour. By stirring it in, I haven't had to stick blend this. I haven't had to increase my trace. I can work nice and calmly and slowly. You can see I've still got a really nice trace there. So again, I'm pouring into my little colour pot and then out again to get all of that colour, and then scraping through with a little scraper there. And really that's the easiest way of doing it, is just to kind of scrape everything out like that. Pour in, pour out, pour in, pour out, scrape out, and then stir in. And you can see I've barely had to kind of give that a stir, and that pink colour has kind of come through really beautifully. So again, just mix your micas initially. Things like neons, notoriously you get spotting and stuff with them. So if you mix them first off, you can kind of get rid of all of that spotting and all of that kind of undiluted mica. It just makes life a lot easier. So I've got a lovely purple here. Now this is you can no longer get this purple because it was from a company called Resonate that are no longer around, unfortunately, and they were my favourite place to go for micas. But this is the purple, and what I've done is in order to kind of bring this into the right tone range, I know that this purple sits on the blue side. So what I've done is I've had a little bit of my denim blue in there as well, which has darkened it down a wee bit, but it's also brought it into the same tonal range as my other blue. So I've got two colours within the same range, one on the opposite range against a black background. This should look absolutely fantastic. That's really why I'm doing what I'm doing there, to kind of give myself a nice colour range that sits in the same kind of area. Now, that was a little bit of thickening, but just stirring it comes back to being a nice liquid. And I'm just adding a little more of my base into all of the other ones. Apologies, because that was completely off screen. And then we can give these a quick stir. And what you just want to do is go through, give them another quick stir again. If they sit, they tend to start to thicken. So just give them a stir and then come back. And then we'll get this this next one done. You can still see it's nice and fluid. We're not panicking. We don't have to panic on this. It's fab. And this is my black. So this is my black mica. And you can see how little I need of that black mica in order to create this really nice black soap. It's far less mica I need to use than activated charcoal. And I would much rather use activated charcoal for its properties in soap than its colour ability. So I've decided to go with the mica here, and you can see it just brings a really nice colour through. So now let's move on to getting our pour together. So I've got a metal funnel here. This is a stainless steel metal funnel, for those of you that are going to say, and it's on a turntable. Now you need both of these in order to kind of do this pour. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm placing the base of my funnel, and it has got a flat bottom, and you do need a flat bottom for this. And what we're going to do is we're basically going to pour our colours into the funnel and then bounce the funnel up and down in order to get our pattern going whilst rotating our turntable. So you can see here I'm pouring the colours at kind of thirds around the funnel, and then I'm going to go in with the black in the spaces that are created in between those colours. So I've got 3 times as much black as I have the other colours, and then I'm going to go through and just add these colours in the same spots like this, and just get this really kind of filled up with these colours. And you'll see what I'm going to do in a second once we get these in. And again, always put the colours in the same spot within the funnel, because the funnel is going to stay the same, and we're going to move the mould around it. So I'm going to just reposition my hand, because I'm a right-handy and I can spin better with my left and do the up and down. And you can see here I'm just bouncing the funnel up and down. So I'm allowing a little bit of that to come out each time. And as I bounce it, you can see these swirls and everything happening within it. And we're basically going to repeat that pattern all the way around the soap until we use all of our batter up. So I'll speed that up so you can see exactly how that all happens in quick time. So I'll see you back in just a second. And this is a little bit unusual for me, but we're actually going to go in with a little bit of eco glitter here. Now, please, if you're going to use glitters on soaps, use an eco glitter, which is biodegradable. So when it goes down into the water table and down back out into the kind of seas and stuff, that it biodegrades and we don't leave microplastics everywhere. So whilst we can do our little bit to help the environment, use an eco glitter, and this is available. I'll leave links to where I got these from in the description below. So we're just going to pop a little bit of glitter on here, and then we'll leave this overnight to saponify. I actually left this for about 3 days, and we'll come back and we'll give this a slice up so we can see the final result. So I'm going to use a slab cutter here just to cut this down into equally high portions. So you can see how we get all those kind of striations through the sides on this soap, and it's absolutely fantastic. Very Galaxy, and then the top has the glitter on it, and it's just a really, really lovely kind of technique to do if you're not quite sure what you want to do, but you want to get some really nice kind of colours going through there. Excuse the head in the way. And there we go. That's our first one. And I'll take this top off and you'll see just the beautiful striations that you get through this. Look at all those colours kind of going on and swirling around. It's fantastic. And what's really nice with this one is you're not just kind of doing a surface decoration. You're actually doing this really beautiful pattern that goes all the way through soaps. And I think if you're going to do a soap, your pattern should go all the way through it, so that even down to the very last bit, you've got all of those colours and stuff kind of going on in there. Let's just cut these down into bars and you'll get a really good look at how these turned out. So I think the colour combination is absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, the screen doesn't pick up all of the kind of nuances of that purple and blue. So you're kind of getting the pinks and blues coming through, but there is purple in there as well. And they look fantastic as a real kind of close-up bar of soap. So I'm really pleased with this. So if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me grow and allows me to make more videos and tutorials for all of you. When you subscribe, don't forget to click the bell icon if you'd like to get notified when a new video is uploaded. And thanks a lot, Soapsters. I'll see you again next time.